Hello. So today let us continue with the brain. Okay, so it is a continuation of last class. So last class we have seen with cerebrum. So now we are seeing the brain stem. Okay, so your brain stem consists of midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. So coming to midbrain. So midbrain is the area of brain situated around the cerebral aqueduct between the cerebrum above and pons below. So it consists of group of cell bodies and nerve fibers which connect the cerebrum with the lower parts of the brain and with the spinal cord. So the cell bodies act as a relay stations for ascending and descending nerve fibers. So the fibers which is coming upward and moving downward, so which will go through the midbrain. So next is the pons. So pons is situated in front of the cerebellum. So below the midbrain and above the medulla oblongata, it consists of nerve fibers which form a bridge between the two hemispheres of the cerebellum and of fibers passing between the higher levels of brain and the spinal cord. Okay, so there are group of cells within the pons which act as a relay stations, and some of these are associated with the cranial nerves. Okay, so anatomical structure of the pons differs from that of cerebrum. That gray bodies, that is usually gray matter, will be present inside, and the white matter will be present outside on the surface of the pons. So next is the medulla. So medulla oblongata extends from the pons above and is continuous with the spinal cord below. It is about 2.5 centimeter in length and it lies just within the cranium above the foramen magnum. Okay, so its anterior and posterior surface are marked with central fissures. So the outer aspect is composed of white matter which passes between the brain and the spinal cord, and the gray matter lies inside. So some cells constitute relay stations for sensory nerves passing from the spinal cord to the cerebrum. So the vital centers, vital means important centers consisting of group of cells associated with autonomic reflex activity, lie in the deeper structure of the medulla. So what are all those means? Cardiac center, respiratory center, vasomotor center, and reflex centers for vomiting, coughing, sneezing, and swallowing. Okay, so the medulla oblongata has several special functions. So first is the decussation of pyramids. Okay, that is crossing over. So in the medulla, the motor nerves descending from the motor area, that is from the cerebrum area to the spinal cord. So normally this from the nerves from the cerebrum will come to the spinal cord, so they will be motor in function. So what they will do means, so after they reach the medulla oblongata, the right side fibers will move to the left and left side fibers will move to the right, that is there will be a in crossing over, that is X cross. Okay, so in the medulla, the motor nerves descending from the motor area in the cerebrum to the spinal cord in the pyramidal tracks cross from one side to another. So this means the left hemisphere of the cerebrum controls the right half of your body and vice versa, that is the right half of the cerebrum will control the left side of your body. So these tracks are main pathway for impulse to skeletal muscles, that is mainly voluntary muscles. So sensory decussation, some of the sensory nerves ascending from the to the cerebrum from the spinal cord cross from one side to another. So others decussate at the lower levels of the spinal cord. Okay, so certain sensory nerves also will cross over at the medulla oblongata. So remaining sensory nerves will cross over at the your spinal cord itself. Okay, so next is the cardiovascular center which controls the rate and force of contraction. So sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve fibers originating in the medulla pass to the heart. So sympathetic stimulation increases the heart and rate and force of heartbeat, and parasympathetic stimulation will reduce the heart stimulation. Okay, that is usually sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system will be opposite in action. Next is the respiratory center that controls the rate and depth of respiration. So from this center, nerve impulses pass to phrenic and intercostal nerves which stimulate the contraction of diaphragm and intercostal muscles, thus initiating the inspiration. So hope all you know about the phrenic nerves, intercostal nerves, and diaphragm. Okay, so the respiratory center, which is located in your medulla, is stimulated by excess of carbon dioxide until exhale extended by a efficiency of oxygen in the blood, and nerve impulses from the chemoreceptors to the carotid bodies. Okay, so next is the vasomotor center which controls the diameter of the blood vessels, especially the small arteries and arterioles which have a large proportion of smooth muscle fibers in their walls. So vasomotor impulses reach the blood vessels through the autonomic nervous system. So stimulation may cause either constriction or dilation of the blood vessels depending on the site where it is located. So the sources of stimulation of vasomotor center are arterial, baroreceptors, body temperature, and emotions as sexual excitement and anger. So pain usually causes vasoconstriction, then in some of the time severe pain will cause vasodilation. Okay, so that will lead to a fall in blood pressure and fainting. The next is the reflex center. So when irritating substances are present in the stomach or respiratory tract, nerve impulses pass through the medulla oblongata. So stimulation of the reflex centers which will initiate the reflex actions like vomiting, coughing, and sneezing. So to expel the irritant, so that the irritant will be removed outside your tract. So next is a reticular formation. So reticular formation is a collection of neurons in the core of the brainstem surrounding the neural pathways which conduct the ascending and descending nerve impulses between your brain and spinal cord. So it has a vast number of synaptic links with the other part of the brain, and there is therefore constantly receiving information that is being transmitted in the ascending and descending tracks. So functions. So reticular formation is involved in coordination of skeletal muscle activity associated with the voluntary movement and maintenance of the balance, coordination of activity controlled by autonomic nervous system, example CVS, respiratory and GIT activity, then selective awareness that functions through the reticular activating system, which selectively blocks or passes sensory information to the cerebral cortex. Example, the slight sound made by a sick child will move a bed in may arouse his mother, but noise regularly passing trains may be suppressed. For example, this is a normally, so we are susceptible to certain sounds that we will immediately respond to certain sounds, but certain sounds may be irritating to us, but we will casually passing over it. So this is the selective awareness of the functions. Okay, so this is the one of the function of your reticular activating system. Okay, so this is about your brainstem. So remaining we can see in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.